in the last session, we have started our discussion related to control statements, right? Now, so what is a control statement and why we need control statement? Control statements are used to control our program execution. So in a Java program, we can write multiple lines of code. We can write multiple lines of code. That code will execute line by line in a sequential order. If the code is executing line by line in the sequential order, we cannot develop a real-time project, because as we have seen in the website, people will perform different operations based on their requirement. So when user performs some operation, code should execute related to only that operation. If user click on login button, only login code should execute. If user click on register button, only register code should execute. If code is executing line by line, we cannot develop a project basically. So here our code should execute based. Online students, can you hear me now? All right. So here Java programs will execute line by line. We need to control execution flow of the program. To control the execution flow of the program, we are using control statements. How many types of control statements available? There are 3 types of control statements available. What are the 3 control statements? First one is decision making statements. Second one, looping statements. Third one, branching statements. Conditional statements. Conditional statements are used to execute the code only once based on condition. Execute the code only once based on condition. If a condition satisfied, I want to execute some piece of code. If a condition not satisfied, I want to execute some piece of code. So for that we will go for conditional statements. What are the conditional statements available? Simple, if available, if else available, if else, if ladder is also available, and switch is also available. All these are used to execute the code only once based on condition. The next one, we are having looping statements. What is the purpose of looping statements? Execute the code repeatedly. To execute the code repeatedly. To execute the code repeatedly. To execute the code repeatedly, we will go for looping statements. How many types of loops available in Java? 4 types of loops available in the Java. While loop available, do while loop available, for loop is available, and for each loop is also available. While loop, do while loop, for loop, and for each loop is also available. Next one, branching statements or transfer statements are available. What is the meaning of transfer statements? So it is used to break the execution or continue the execution or stop the execution. For that we are using branching statements. Now let me go to first simple if statement. First let us talk about simple if statement. Now here guys, I am taking 2 variables. I am taking 2 variables here. Integer a is equal to 10. Integer a is equal to 10. Integer b is equal to 20. I have declared 2 variables. Now, my requirement is if a is greater than b, if a is a variable holding some value, b is a variable holding some value. If a variable is greater than b variable, if a variable is greater than b variable, I want to print one message. A is greater than b. A is greater than b. So here I want to check the relation between two operands, two variables are there. I want to check the relation between two variables. If A is greater than B, then I want to print the message. Otherwise, I don't want to print anything. For that, I will go for simple if statement. Simple if means here we are going to write if A greater than B. A greater than B. Now, inside the brackets, I am going to write system dot out dot println A is bigger than B. A is bigger than B. Now, inside this if, I am writing some code. I am writing a statement. When I run my program, this statement will execute always, or this statement will not execute always. That system.out.println statement will execute or will not execute, will not execute. Here, whatever the condition we are writing, A greater than B, this is a Boolean expression. What is this, guys? This is a Boolean expression. What is the meaning of Boolean expression? When that expression is executed, it will give the result as a true or false. If this Boolean expression result is true, then only this statement will execute. Otherwise, this statement will not execute. So whenever we are developing the project also, if you want to execute some piece of code, based on one condition, then go for simple if. If that condition is satisfied, then only that statement will execute. If a condition is not satisfied, statement will not execute. Now here, when I am writing if condition, the syntax for if condition, then I am going to write statements. Whatever the statements you want to execute, you can write those statements. Alright guys, here when we are writing the if condition, curly braces also optional. When to use the curly brace, when no need to use the curly brace. If you want to execute only single line, if the condition satisfy, then directly you can write like this. If condition, if this condition is satisfied, only this line will execute. For example, if a condition is satisfied, I want to execute 5 lines of code, then you need to keep them in the braces. If the condition satisfied, how many lines of code you want to execute based on the condition? If you want to execute only 1 line of code, then no need to write the curly brace. Suppose if this condition is satisfied, I want to execute more than 1 line of code based on the condition, then we need to go for curly brace. Now, what is the purpose of simple if? What is the meaning of simple if? Guys, what is the meaning of simple if? To execute the statements based on condition. To execute the statements based on condition. What is the syntax for that? If condition, then inside the braces you can write the statements. Now, writing the braces is mandatory or writing the braces optional? Writing the braces optional. When we should write the braces, when we no need to write the braces? If you want to execute only 1 line of code based on the condition, then you no need to write the braces. Suppose statement 1 and statement 2 and statement 3 I want to execute. 3 statements I want to execute if condition satisfied. 3 statements I need to execute if condition satisfied. Then those 3 statements we are going to keep inside the braces. 3 statements we are going to keep inside the braces. Suppose instead of this you can write like this also. If condition, you can directly write statement. Okay, So if this condition is satisfied, only one statement will be executed based on that condition. If you want to execute more than one statement, more than one line, then you need to keep them in the braces. So this code will execute if a condition is true. This code will execute if a condition is true. If this condition is false, the code will not execute. Now, do you understand how we are getting label as free for our courses in the table? Do you understand why the label coming as free for this course? If price is 0, add the label as free. If the price is 0, if course price equal to 0, then display the label as a free. Are you guys getting my point? So any code you want to execute only one time when the condition satisfied, then go for simple if statement. You go for simple if statement. Okay, let us write a program for this. Go to workspace, control statements.java, or else let me create another program, new text document. This is simple if.java. Simple if.java. Now open this. Tell me the syntax. Class name, simple if. Simple if is my class name. Inside the class, we need a method. What is the method we are writing? Public static void main string arguments. Public static void main string arguments. Then I'm taking integer a is equal to 10. Then I'm taking integer b is equal to 20. Then I'm taking if a greater than b. If a greater than b, then only I want to execute this. System.out.println a is greater than b. A is greater than b. This is my program. I am writing a curly brace, but actually curly brace is mandatory here. Curly brace is optional here. Can I remove that curly brace? Yes. If this condition satisfied, then this line will execute. Open command prompt, cmd java c space class name. Simple if.java. Java space class name. Are we getting any output? We are not getting. Why? Condition is executed. Condition is failed. A greater than B false because A value is 10, B value is 20. A value is 10, B value is 20. So this expression resulted false. Which operator I am using? Greater than. Greater than is belongs to arithmetic operator, relational operator, logical operator, relational operator. What is the purpose of relational operator? To check the relation between two operands. A greater than B false. False. Because A variable holding value as 10, B variable holding value as 20, A greater than B condition not satisfied. That's why it is failed. When the condition is failed, this line will not execute. This line will not execute. Now here I am writing one more line, system.out.println completed. System.out.println completed. This line will execute or this line will not execute? Will execute or will not execute? Will not execute, right? So this now, assume that this is line number 8. Some random number I am giving. This is line number 9. Okay. Now, this is line number 7. Assume that. So line number 7 will give true or false? False. If it is false, line number 8 will execute or will not execute? Will not execute. What about line number 9? Line number 9 will execute or line number 9 will not execute? Will or will not? Chalo, check it. Check it, check it, check it, check it. वो बता देगा भाई. Java C, simple if dot Java. What is that? Right. What is the problem? Parenthesis missing. So this line is not completed properly. Give the bracket. Okay. Java C space class name. What is the Java C space class name? Simple if Java. Java space simple if. Completed, right? That means why this line is executing? There is no relation between if condition and this line. Okay. If you don't write the curly brace, it will affect only on the next immediate line. Okay, guys. If this condition is satisfied, this line will execute. If this condition not satisfied, only this line will not execute. Next line will be executed. So writing the curly brace is optional, or writing the curly brace is mandatory. Writing the curly brace is optional. When we should go for curly brace? When we no need to go for curly brace? If you want to execute more than one line when the condition satisfied. If I want to execute more than one line when the remove your mobile. When we want to execute more than one line, then we need to go for curly braces. If you want to execute only one line, then no need to go for curly braces. Right. Now, my requirement is, I don't want to execute these two lines. I want to execute these two lines if the condition satisfy. What I need to do? Then I need to keep them in the curly braces. Got my point? So, this is if boundary. This is boundary for my if statement. Okay. Now, here I am writing system.out.println by. System.out.println by. Then what will happen? What is the output of this program? Only by will come. Why? By is in the if boundary. By is out of the if boundary. By is out of the if boundary. So when this condition satisfied, only these two lines will execute. If a condition not satisfied, these two lines will not execute. What about this by statement? Always it will execute. By statement will execute always, because it is not part of if statement. It is not part of if statement. Now tell me, what is the purpose of simple if in the Java? What is the purpose of simple if in the Java? Simple if is used to execute single line or some lines of code based on condition. You can execute only one line of code, or you can execute multiple lines of code also based on the condition. If you want to execute multiple lines of code based on the condition, curly braces are mandatory. If you don't write the curly brace, it will consider only one line as the if boundary line. Are you guys clear with my point? Yes, right. Let's save this program, compile and execute. Save this program, compile and execute. Java C class name dot Java. Java space class name. What is the output? Only by statement is executing. Why only this by statement is executing? It is outside of the if condition. It is outside of the if condition. If this condition is satisfied, then only this code will execute. Otherwise, nothing will happen. Na? This line is going to execute. Now, I will make a change to my program. A is equal to 100. A is equal to 100. So now, condition will satisfy and condition will not satisfy. Condition will satisfy. If a condition satisfied, both lines will execute. What about this line? Always it will execute. So now what is the output? A is greater than B, completed and by. Alright. Save this program. Go to command prompt. Java C space class name dot Java. Then Java space class name. A is greater than B and completed and B. So my condition is satisfied. So these two lines got executed and this line will execute always because it is out of the if statement. It is out of the if statement. Are you clear with my point? So if you want to execute some piece of code, based on the condition, then you will go for if statement. So here, when we are going for if statement, curly braces are optional. So it depends upon the requirement. When we need to go for that curly braces. When to go for curly braces? If you want to write more than one line in the if condition, okay, then go for curly brace. If you want to execute only one statement, curly brace is optional. Are you clear with my point? Yes. Next. This is simple if program. A is greater than B, condition satisfied. So these two lines executing, by statement will execute always because it is a normal line. It is a normal statement. There is no condition. Now I want to write a program. Which will execute one statement if a condition satisfied. Otherwise execute other statement. Simple example. Now person age. If person age is greater than or equal to 18, eligible for vote. Otherwise not eligible for vote. Okay. Here my requirement is like this. If a condition is satisfied, execute one statement. If a condition not satisfied, then execute other statement. Okay. Now here, if available, I am going to write condition. Inside this condition, I will write statement 1. I am writing curly braces so that you will have more readability. Okay. Now here, if a condition is satisfied, then execute statement 1. Okay guys. Now here I have another statement 2. I have here one more statement called statement 2. If I execute this program, now statement 1 will execute if condition satisfied. Statement 2, it is going to execute always. But I don't want that. A statement, first statement should execute when the condition satisfied. Second statement should execute when the condition not satisfied. Are you getting my point? For that, we have a option if and else. What is the option we are having? If and else option is available. Tell me when to go for if else. Come on. When to go for if and else. Combination if else. If condition satisfied, simple. When you are entering into the classroom, office boy is checking ID card. Okay. If you have a ID card, he will allow. If you don't have ID card, he will stop. If ID card is available, you will allow into the class. If ID card is not available, you will be stopped at the gate. If else, if a condition satisfy, execute one statement. If a condition not satisfy, execute other statement. Are you guys getting my point? Right. Now I want to write one more program. If else program. Can you tell me the code? Class if else demo. Class. Am I following naming convention? Am I following the identifier rules? Yes. If else demo is my class name. Then public static void main string arguments. Public static void main string arguments. Now let me take integer age is equal to 18. Integer age is equal to 18. Okay. Or else let us take integer age is equal to 20, some value. Now you need to write the program. If that person age is greater than or equal to 18, print the message, he is eligible for voting. If age is not greater than or equal to 18, print the message, not eligible for voting. So if condition satisfied, execute one statement. If condition not satisfied, then execute else statement. Can you tell me the code for that? Can you tell me the code for that? If age greater than or equal to 18, if age greater, why semicolon? If age greater than or equal to 18, then what I will write? System dot out dot println of eligible for vote. Eligible for vote. Then I am writing else. I am writing else. Curly brace you can write in the same line or you can write in the next line also. Like this also I can write. Like this also I can write. But recommended to write like this. It will have readability. Else. Now I am writing system dot out dot println not eligible for vote. Not eligible for vote. Okay. Now here age greater than or is equal to 18. Age is a variable which is holding value 20. Age is a variable which is holding value 20. Now I have two statements. My statements should execute based on condition. If a condition satisfy, then execute one statement. If a condition not satisfy, then execute the second statement. That is my requirement. If a condition satisfy, execute. Simple. Just apply your general life. You are driving a bike. Traffic police stopped you. He asked to show your driving license. If you show driving license, he will allow you to drive the bike. If you don't have a driving license, pay the money. Pay the money. If available, he will allow. If not available, he will give the challan. If you have ID card, you will allow inside the class. If you don't have ID card, he will be stopped. If condition satisfied, execute one statement. If a condition not satisfied, execute some other statement. If a condition satisfied, execute one statement. If a condition not satisfied, then execute other statement. For that you will go for if, else. When to go for only if, when to go for if and else. When to go for only if, when to go for if and else. Here I want to execute the sum code when the condition satisfied, that's it. If a condition satisfied, then only execute sum code. The best example, if course price is 0, then print free. If course price is not 0, don't do anything. You don't need to do anything. If course price is 0, then only print as free. Otherwise, don't print anything. If a condition satisfied, execute the code. If condition not satisfied, don't do anything. That's it. I want to execute the code only when the condition satisfied. For that we will go for simple if. Simple if. Now I have another requirement. When condition satisfied, I want to execute some code. When condition not satisfied, I want to execute some other code. When condition satisfied, execute some code. When condition not satisfied, execute some other code. For that we will go for if, else. If condition satisfied, execute these statements. If this condition not satisfied, that means false. This is a Boolean expression. Age greater than or equal to 18. That is also a relational operator. Greater than equals. Greater than or equals. So when this expression is executed, it will give either true or false. If it is true, this statement will execute. If it is false, else statement will execute. Are you guys clear with my point? Yes. Save this program. Workspace. If else demo.java. Guys, as of now, whatever the class name I am giving, same name I am using for file also. Did you observe that? My class name, file name, I am taking same. Class name and file name I am taking same. That is recommended. Sir, if I use the class name and file name different, what will happen? Did you ever try that? What happening? It will create a dot class file with the class name. Understand my point? If you give whatever, suppose if I give this as if else, if I give if else, can I compile this program? Can I compile this program? Yes. But to run if else, I need to use if else, because whatever the class name is available, with that class name, that class file will be created. So why to take that confusion? Use the same name. Whatever the class name you are using, use the same name for the file also. Then that class file will be created with the same name. So what is my class name? If else demo. What is my file name? If else demo. Both are same. Good. Now try to compile this program. Java C if else demo.java. Java space if else. What is the output? Only one statement executing. Why this statement is not executing? Condition satisfied. Condition satisfied. That's why first statement executed. Condition satisfied. Suppose I am giving this as sweet 16. Int age is equal to 16. Then what will happen? So now this condition will fail. What is the meaning of condition fail? It will give false. That expression will give the result as a false. When it is false, it will go to else statement. So either this statement or this statement, only one line will execute. Only one line will execute. If a condition is satisfied, first statement. If a condition not satisfied, second statement. Right. Save this program, compile it once again and run it. Java space if else demo. What happened? Not eligible for vote. You understand? What is if? What is else? What is if? What is else? Now, with this knowledge, can you understand how our login functionality is working in the website? Can you understand how login functionality working in the website? Okay, I am giving my credentials. I am giving invalid password. Login. What happened? Invalid credential. Why? That means else part executed. If credentials are valid, it will allow me to log in. If credentials are not valid, invalid credential. Now, this time, let me give valid credential. Click on login. Click on login. What happened? If part executed. If credentials are correct, it is allowing me to log in. If credentials are not valid, it is displaying invalid message. So, can I write that code like this? If credentials valid, if credentials valid, then what I will do? Display dashboard. What I will do? Display dashboard. Else, what I will display? Display error message. Display error message. Are you able to see in the real time? We are going to use if else or not? Yes, in the project, if else will be available. If login is a success, if your credentials are valid, display dashboard. That is the condition in my code. If the credentials are not valid, display error message. And one more thing. Come here. In the dashboard, there are some courses are available. In the dashboard, there are some courses are available. Those are open for enrollment. When I click on enroll, some option will come to do the payment. If you have not done the payment for the course, it will ask you to do the payment. If you have already done the payment, it will ask is it going to ask you to do the payment once again? If you have already done the payment, Is it going to ask you to do the payment once again? No. It is not going to ask you to do the payment once again if you have done the payment already. Okay, now let us see Python full stack available. When I click on that image, what is happening? What is the button we are getting? Proceed to payment. Suppose if I click on Hibernate, your enrollment has been completed. So there is some condition to display the button and the text. If student, the person who logged in into our website, based on the email ID, my code will check the condition. This email ID person already done the payment for that course or not. If that person already done the payment for that course, it will display message as your enrollment has been completed. So, okay, for the Hibernate, you see my courses, Hibernate is already available in my courses. That means I already purchased that course. I have already purchased the Hibernate course. That's why when I access this Hibernate, it is saying that your enrollment has been completed. Okay, if I click on DevOps course, what it is saying? Proceed to payment. What is the meaning of that? If you already done the payment, it will display. If already payment is completed, it will display enrollment completed. If the payment not completed, display proceed to payment. If else, if a condition satisfied, execute some code. If a condition not satisfied, execute some other code. Are you getting my point? So to use the if else, can you tell me some real-time examples? No, in the example, in the programs, in the real time, they will ask you where if a condition not satisfied, then else statement is going to execute. What are some scenarios to use if and else? Can you say login functionality? Can you say product payment functionality? Can you say course payment functionality? Can I say login functionality? Yes, we can say them as examples for, we can say them as examples for our if and else statement. Okay, now I have another requirement. Okay, let me note down this program. Now I have another requirement. Okay, I'm taking one number. Integer a is equal to one number. Now if a greater than 0, display message as a is positive number. If a is less than 0, then display message as a is negative number. If not, then display, if both conditions are not satisfied, display 0. If above both conditions are failed, then it display message as a is 0. If it is not greater than 0, it is not less than 0, then what it is? It is 0. Can you write a program for this? Yeah. From tomorrow, I want you people to carry books also. In the class itself, you need to practice the syntax. Alright? Now, understand the requirement. A is equal to 20. If a is greater than 0, then I need to display the message as a is positive number. If a is less than 0, then I need to display the message as a is negative number. When above both conditions are failed, then display message as a is 0. For this, the syntax is like this. That is, if, else, if, ladder. We need to go for if, else, if, ladder. If, now I am going to check condition 1. I'm going to check if condition 1. If a condition satisfied, then statement 1. Now here I am going to write else if, then I am going to do condition 2. Condition 2. Then I am going to write else. Here statement 2. And here I am going to do statement 3. Statement 1, statement 2, statement 3. So now tell me how many conditions I am checking? How many conditions I am checking? 2 conditions I am checking. Now see here, this is called as if, else, if, ladder. If, else, ladder. Now, first it is going to check condition 1. If this condition 1 is satisfied, then it will execute only statement 1. What about remaining? Will not execute. If condition 1 is satisfied, then only statement 1 will be executed. If condition 1 is failed, then it will go to else if. If first condition is failed, then it will go to second condition. Second condition satisfied. Second condition is true. Then what it will execute? Statement 2 will be executed. Statement 2 will be executed. Suppose condition 1 is failed, condition 2 also failed. Then it will go to directly else block. Are you guys able to follow me? If first condition satisfied, then it will execute statement 1. If first condition is failed, then it will execute condition 2. If condition 2 is passed, then it will execute statement 2. If condition 1 is failed, condition 2 also failed, then directly it will execute statement 3, that is else path. So if you want to execute your statements based on several conditions, then you need to go for if, else, ladder. If, else, ladder. Are you guys getting my point? Right. Now, let's try. Can I implement this requirement using this syntax now? Can I implement this requirement by using this syntax? Now read the requirement. Read the requirement. If now I'm taking A is equal to 20. If A is greater than 0, display message as A is a positive number. First condition. If A greater than 0. Okay. Then else if A less than 0, display the message as negative number. If both conditions are not satisfied, display the message as 0. A is 0. Are you clear? Right. Read the syntax. If condition 1 satisfied, then execute statement 1. If condition 1 is failed, then check condition 2.